Hi everyone, welcome to Jensen DIY. Well, today we're going to rough in a sink, okay? Now this goes for a bathroom basin, a kitchen sink, a laundry tub, even a double bathroom basin. So we've got our drain line here. This is a 2-inch ABS drain. Our vent line here going up through the roof or into an attic space and tying into the other venting. This drain line here is tying into the drains under the slab, or if you have a crawl space, it would be tied in the crawl space with a Y fitting, or if you have a basement, it would be up in the joist space or coming down a wall in your basement. But in this case, this is coming up out of the slab into a wall, okay? And then we've got our hot and cold water lines here that are capped. So before you cut these water lines, you want to make sure the water is turned off. So the first thing you want to do is get your vanity specs, the measurements of the vanity that is going to hold your sink. Okay, so now after you have determined your measurements, then you need to figure out exactly where your piping is going to go to accommodate those measurements. Now in this case, we're going to put a 36-inch vanity in here, okay? So what we want to do is find our end point for that vanity. Our end line is here, so we're going to mark that. Here's our 36 inches here. Okay, 3 feet. Okay, so now center of that is 18 inches, which is right here. Okay, now what we want to do is look at those specs and see where the drawers are, if any, and where the space where the sink is going to go. Okay, where the sink is going to go is where you want to rough your drain over to and have your water lines come out in that space. You want to make sure they're not going to come out where the drawers are. If you're a homeowner doing this yourself, you might already have the vanity there. Look at the vanity, kind of place it where you want it to go, and then you'll be able to determine the heights and the widths of where your piping needs to come out, okay? But we're gonna go on the scenario that we don't have a vanity at the moment. We're just going off specifications, all right? So we've determined our center. Now we're going to get the piping installed. So this is our space where the sink is going to go. Really, as long as it's anywhere in this space, it's fine. But I like to come out in the center of it with the drain. So in this 18-inch area, I would come out at 9 inches. So I'm gonna come out with the drain. Actually, I'll probably come out with the drain right against this stud here, okay? Okay, and if you were gonna do a double basin where you have 2, then you do exactly what I just said about determining where, except you would use this T, a double T, instead of a single T. We're going to use just the single T today because we're just doing one sink. This could be 1.5 inches, but I recommend that you run 2-inch. If this was for a bathroom where you had a toilet, this would have to be 2-inch because it would be venting the toilet as well. So now we want to determine the height of the drain. I would rough that drain in at 16 inches off the floor. We need to drill a hole here, okay? So our height here is going to be, we're going to go about 15 3/4 inches because you want a 1/4 inch per foot grade. And this is about a foot over from here. So it doesn't have to be perfect. This is a 2 by 1.5 inch T, and then I'm going to reduce it down to 1.5 inches at the top. You can get 2 by 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch T's. So we're just going to reduce this down with a bushing. Okay, so you always want to wear gloves when you're gluing, ABS glue. Okay, so first thing we'll do is we'll get this bushing glued into the top of the T. Okay, the T on the drain part turns down. Okay, so the top is here. So we're just going to take our ABS glue, we're going to take the fitting, and we're going to do a nice coating all around in the fitting. Okay, we can set the fitting down. Now we're going to take our bushing. Like I say, you might not need this if you get a 2 by 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch T. Okay, so we're going to go all the way around there. Place that in the top, and you can just push it against the stud there. It goes down in. Just give it a little wiper. Okay, from the top of the pipe to the top of the hub on that T, that's 5 inches. Okay, so now we know we need a 5-inch piece. We can go ahead and get our coupling glued on. So this would be a clean out if I had one. I would just go right where that coupling is there. But there's other ways of cleaning the pipe out from under the vanity. Okay, so, and if you had a crawl space, you could put the clean out in the crawl space. Or if it was on a second floor, you could put the clean out of the basement in the wall. So we get that coupling glued there, and we want to do a coating all around the pipe. Place that on there, push down, give a little twist and hold for a couple seconds. Okay, that's already starting to set up. 5-inch piece cut. So we're gonna go measure there, 5 inch at the end of my thumb. Okay, I'm gonna take the cutter. You can use a hacksaw for this as well. Twist. Okay, so now we want to take our teeth. We're gonna glue this piece into the bottom. Okay, so again, fitting first. Nice coating in there. Coating around the pipe. Take your pipe, insert in the fitting, push in and twist and hold. A couple seconds. Good. Now I just wipe that off. Okay, this stud's getting covered up. You can use a rag to wipe it on. I just like to do that. Then you know you're not going to get any leaks around there. Okay. So now we want this to face towards the hole over here. So we're going to put glue on our coupling. We're going to glue the pipe. That goes in, push down, twist, so that you're in line with that hole over here. Okay, wipe that glue off. There you go. Now we're set to run our trap arm, it's called. It goes across. So now we want to take our 1.5 inch 90-degree elbow, okay, and we want to place it over here where we want it. We can measure right through the hole, over, right in, and then we hold our 90 there, and we look at where it would be in the hub of the fitting here. So we're at 22 3/4 inches. So that's what we need to cut our 1.5 inch ABS at. And then we're just gonna cut. Again, you can use a hacksaw to do this. Depending on the distance between the studs, you may have to cut this in half and use a coupling or 2 couplings, depending how many studs you're going through. In this case though, you can put it through, and this ABS bends a little bit. Just take my hammer and give it a tap. There we go. Okay, so we're in with the one piece. Good coating of glue in there. And then we can just turn the pipe, get glue all over that. Put that in, give it a twist. And you want to have your, if it's getting inspected, you want to have your letters facing out so the inspector can see that it's the proper pipe. Okay, so I've got the letters facing out here. So now we'll check our grade to make sure we're good. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that, but it's just past the line. So we have grade on this pipe, grading towards the vertical drain. Okay, so now we want to take our 90 and put some glue in one side, glue on the pipe. Okay, now we want to fit that on there. Once we get that 90 on, we want to put our level on there, and we want it to be pretty well level coming out. Okay, maybe a slight bit of grade, but pretty well level is what we want to see, because if it isn't, when you go to install your P-trap later underneath your sink, it'll end up being cockeyed. So you want to have this pretty close to level where the pipe comes out. Okay, then you just want to take a 6 or 8 inch piece of pipe, glue a cap on if you like, if you're going to be testing this with pressure, with water pressure. Otherwise, just push the cap on there to keep the sewer gases from coming into the dwelling. Okay, and then you want to take this end, glue in here, glue on there, put that in, twist, hold for a few seconds, and there you go. Okay, it's fairly level. It's got a tiny bit of grade on it. Okay, so there's the main part of our rough in done for the drain. We've got our cap, that's going to be inside the vanity. Okay, and then it turns, and you can use a 90-degree elbow on a trap arm like this. Okay, on any other drain line you would use 245s, but you're allowed to use a 90-degree elbow here. And now we're going to attach our vent. Okay, now you can use a mechanical vent, but it's always best to run a vent to open air. Okay, so we're 62 inches. I already have the coupling glued onto the vent going up through. So we'll cut our piece at 62 inches. Okay, so we're going to glue the bottom. Again, with the letters facing out. So we're going to glue that in. There we go. Same at the top. I like to take a little bit of all-around strapping to fasten that on. You want a hanger about every 4 or 5 feet on drainage and venting. So then it's just your water lines. Okay, I've made sure the water is turned off. Now I'm going to cut these. Now you can either bring the water lines out below the drain or above the drain. I like to go above the drain, go about 21 inches, so about 5 inches higher than the drain, so they'll come out about here. That way the valves are up kind of out of the way of everything else, so you have a little more storage room in your vanity. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do these water lines. So I'm just going to put a piece of backing across here. I'm going to bring one water line out here and one here. Okay, so I would usually use a 1x4. I like to use 1 inch thick instead of a 2x4 because then you have room behind for the water lines. But I'm gonna go with, I got this 1x2.5 here. Just wanna fasten that in with some screws. I like to use 2 screws at each end so this doesn't move. Okay, so we got our hot and cold. We just want to mark where we're going to come out. Cut that line. Pull up on that a little bit, get a ring on there. 90. We want to squeeze that ring with our water pump pliers so it doesn't move. Take our crimper, that joint. And this piece I cut off the top is long enough, and it already has a crimped plug on there. So that's about the length you want, 6 or 8 inches. We're gonna take our ring, put it on the end of that, place it on, another squeeze with the channel locks. And we're gonna crimp that. So that is our hot line. Now they do make copper stub L's, they're called, that you can put in place of this, where you would crimp a copper piece on down here and it would stick out in copper depending on what kind of valve you want to use when you're finishing. I like to use crimp BRPX valves myself. And you just take some Talon clip it on where you want it to come out. One there, and then I like to put one the other way as well just to give it more strength. And then you just repeat the process on the other side here. Okay, and there you have it. And now you want to turn the water back on to these to put them under pressure. Make sure you have no leaks on your new connections. When you do rough this vent line in, keep in mind where the center of your sink is going to be, because you don't want that vent line to come up right here in the center, because this is usually where you would put your light fixture. That's another reason why the drain is sometimes over to the left or to the right of center. Your trap arm comes over and you have no interference with your light fixture, which usually would go about here, and we've got our vent over here. So there's been times on jobs where I've had to move this vent line for the electrician because it was in the way of the light. So these are things to think about before you rough that vent line in. All right, well, that's how you rough in a sink. If you have any questions, just ask in the comments. I am planning on doing a video of roughing in a powder room where you would have a toilet and a sink, and how the wet vent works to vent the toilet. Anyways, I hope the video helped. I appreciate you watching. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. All right, thanks for watching.